Welcome to our first video on session 1 paper issues. So there's just lots of things that could happen. Your paper may not look exactly like this one, but I want to go through some of these ideas to help you start to see things that could be that we wanted to check out. So we're going to start today with our title page. Our title page should have 5 elements. So it should have our title. This one's great. It has our title ready to go. And then it should have one extra space, and then it should start with the first of 5 elements. So we have our name. So I'm just going to type student name. And then we're going to start with the biggest and work our way back down. So under the student name, we have the university. Then we're going to have the class, which is somehow bold. So we can type this any number of ways. We can just write English 103. We can write ENG-103 A. And then we can type in all the numbers and work all the way to Introduction to Writing. So we can do any of those as long as we let whoever's reading it know what class it is. We're good to go. It's a good thing to ask your instructor as well, because this next part we wanted to share our instructor's name. So we could say Instructor Barker. We could put my name. We could say Claire Barker. Maybe your professor has an honorific, so Professor Person. So we could put any of those kinds of things as long as, again, we let everyone know who it is. So I tend to go for my name and try to make it easy. Then for our 5th element, we want our date. So I'm just going to go with today, and I type in that month, day, and year. So these are the 5 items we're going to want to see on that major title page. But there's a little bit more. So first off, we want to select the title, and that element should be in bold. So I can go here and click on bold. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to come over here to view, and I'm going to look for non-printing characters. Oh my goodness, all kinds of stuff showed up. These do not print unless we specifically assign it. It's a tricky process to print them, so please don't feel like they're going to show up if you have this on. What I want to see are 3 of these backwards capital P letters. This shows that I've hit the return key. So see how every time I hit it, one of those comes up? Well, I want 3 of these before the rest of my information. So I'm going to use this as a way to check that, to make sure it's matching. The next thing I want to do is to center it. So I'm only selecting these things. I'm dragging my mouse and selecting only the things here on the first page. I went to align, and I'm going to center align them. I could also go to format, align and indent, and I can center them. So that's what my first page should look like in this sense. It should have 3 empty spaces. It should have the title of my paper in bold, empty space, name, university, class, instructor, and date. Let's keep going, because there's a lot going on that first page, even though it looks kind of empty when we see it. So the next thing I want to do is check my font size. APA has a list of fonts, so you may want to go look at them, but in general, what I noticed when I glanced at this is that the numbers were too big. So when I look up here, it says Arial, which is a great font, and then it says 16. We're going to cap out at about 12 most of the time. So I'm going to select everything. I hit my Command A key, but I can go over here and I can do Edit, Select All, and then I'm going to change this. So I can keep Arial if I want. I can do Courier New. I could do Times New Roman. There are a couple of options. If you look up APA formatting, you get to choose among a couple of fonts. The key is that they need to be really clear. Now I need to go all the way down to 12, because that's what we should have, 11 or 12. So you notice that the whole page changed a lot right there. Everything got different. So now I have 2 more things I want to look at. 1, I need page numbers on all of these. So I'm going to go here. You may notice that this one's off to the side, right? It's kind of strange, right? Well, it's in the header. So I could go there and quite possibly add to it. So I can click in my header and options. I can add a page number. But a lot of times you'll find that your header isn't actually set up. So I may want to go to Insert, and I'm going to scroll through all of these options until I find page numbers. Oh, here they are right at the bottom. It gives me lots of great pictures, and I need the upper right. Notice that this one to the right doesn't have a number on the first page. Well, APA wants us to have numbers on every page, so I want this one where every single page has a number in the upper right. And there we go. So our last thing, we're almost there, is that I use the Enter key to separate my pages. But because I've changed fonts, because I've gone through different items, suddenly I have a lot of space. Actually, I just noticed something else. So there are two things we're going to look at. So I'm going to wiggle these together. And rather than risk these being really different at different times, I'm going to put my mouse right here on the first line of the new page, and I'm going to insert a page break. It's down here at the bottom as well under Insert. I'm going to go over here to Page Break. That means no matter what I do, I can export this, I can do all kinds of things, and it's going to stay where this is page 1 and that's page 2. So the last thing I notice is that these are really squishy together. So I'm going to go to Edit and select all because I want whatever I do to happen to my whole paper. And I'm going to go see how much space is between these lines. So I'm going to go over here to Format. Format's going to be a good one. I also have some hotkeys over here, so I can just grab one of them. But I'm going to go to Format right now, and I'm going to look at line and paragraph spacing. Oh, that's why it's funny. It needs to be double spaced, not 1.15. So I'm going to click double, and you notice it looks a little different now. I'm also going to turn this off for these non-printing characters so you can see what it looks like. That's what my first page should look like. I can see that new part. I've got my title in bold. I have student name, university, course, instructor name, and date. So we're good to go with our title page and of course our page number.